Well, the December jobs report showing slower growth, and some critics are pointing to annual wage growth, which, as I mentioned, dipped to 2.9% year over year, below the 3.1% that economists had expected. Of course, there were some statistical things that played into that number, which we can talk about. But joining us in a Fox Business exclusive is Labor Secretary Eugene Scalia. Great to see you, sir. Thank you for being here. A slight miss off expectations, but unemployment remaining at a 50-year low. What did the numbers tell you about our labor force?
To me, it was a strong end to what was just an extraordinary year for the workforce. As you mentioned, we saw, again, that 3.5% unemployment number. It's a number most of us have never seen in our lifetimes. It's a 50-year low. We held that. Just very strong. But here's a number that I like to think about. Back in the fall of 2016, the Congressional Budget Office was saying that by this time we would have added 1.9 million jobs to the economy. You know what? We added 2.1 million jobs just last year, and we've added 6.7 since this president took charge. So when you look at where we are today compared to where people were saying we would be, it's just a terrific place to be right now. And yes, there is wage growth, and it's higher for those in the lower income brackets, as was remarked earlier, which is very good news.
Gary Smith, go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Secretary, welcome to the show. I want to get back on that wage growth because I think it's better than most people say. You know, wage growth is always looked at a static number. But isn't it even better than forecasted because inflation's so low? In fact, it's outpacing our inflation rate by a fairly healthy percentage. So even that is probably ultimately good news, right?
Very good news. It's not just that we're seeing wages grow, not just that we're seeing them grow for people at the lower end of the income scale, but you're right. We've kept inflation in check, which means that people are really getting the benefit of that wage growth. And just, you know, I was talking about low wage earners, but looking back again at the year we just had, we had lowest unemployment ever measured for African Americans, for Hispanic Americans. And we're also seeing more people coming in off the sidelines. Labor participation in the prime age workforce is also looking very good right now. So it's really hard to find bad news in these numbers.
Right. Secretary Scalia, there was also an inflection point here, more women employed than men, which I thought was interesting. It's the first time that we've seen that in roughly a decade. Does that sort of give a little bit of a sense of where the trend is going, that some of the services industries are going to continue to be more robust, education, healthcare, that kind of thing?
Yeah, well, that was a notable number, and in 2019 we also saw unemployment for adult women hit a 70-year low. So that's good news. You may be right. I think we're seeing growth in some industries where women historically have been an important part of the workforce, but we're also seeing women enter other industries that they haven't been so heavily represented to. So I think that's part of the good news here too.
Secretary Scalia, Jonas Ferris here. I would actually question, isn't the bad news in this the best news? That if the wages were actually going up 5 or 6%, wouldn't the Federal Reserve have to raise interest rates? I mean, it seems like you want very low unemployment, but not wages to take off. I know that the worker like to see their wages take off, but ultimately it's inflationary and it causes economic slowdown. So was that actually the best part about the report in some ways?
Look, I think we all want to see wage growth. I'm not going to sort of speculate what the exact right number is, but it's been very good. And, you know, by the way, during the Obama administration, what you saw was that there was faster wage growth among higher earners. Now that's flipped, and it's been flipped for about 17 months during this presidency, where the fastest wage growth is at the lower end of the income scale. We know that is good news.
Adam, quick last question. Go ahead.
Well, talk for a moment about the quality of the jobs. How should we interpret that, as opposed to just simply looking at percentages or at growth percentages?
Yeah, well, look, when we're talking about rising wages, part of what we're talking about is quality coming to those jobs. The other thing we've seen, though, is that there are some of the other measures of unemployment look really good, including the so-called U6 number, which takes account of people who were working part-time, would rather be full-time. We're seeing more of those people able to get into full-time jobs.
Secretary,
now.
Just a real quick last question. Democrats want to reverse the tax cuts that we had under President Trump. What would happen to jobs and companies if we went back to the old rates, particularly on the corporate side?
Well, I mean, let's remember that the economy we have right now is not an accident. It's the result of a decision on taxes by the president. It's a result of a decision on deregulation by the president. And we reverse those things. I think we'll see a reversal in the fortunes of the job market.
Eugene Scalia, Secretary of Labor, great to see you, sir. Pleasure to see us again. Appreciate it.